So wait, I have a question.
That's something you can bring to the table. For me, anyways.
I don't think
Go
that
ahead.
a woman should bring sex to the table after a first date.
No, that's not what I said. I'm saying a lot of women, the way they move is they're talking, they've got situationships, they've got sneaky links, they're talking to a bunch of men. I think something that's rare nowadays, which I guess at least in the past wasn't rare, is not seeing and fucking a bunch of other dudes. So I do think that in years past, that might have been the expectation when first meeting somebody, that you're not fucking a bunch of other people. However, due to, again, I think it is the bare minimum you can bring, but it is something a woman can bring to the table. If I know a girl isn't sleeping with a bunch of other dudes, isn't talking to a bunch of dudes, and is actually going to pursue me the same way I'm going to pursue her for a long-term relationship early on, that is something that a woman can bring to the table. And I would say a lot of women in today's day and age are not bringing what in years past was the bare minimum of undivided romantic and sexual attention.
See, but this was so overcomplicated by casual sex being introduced into dating, because I feel like, think about like stereotypes that you have in your head about how people dated in like the 50s and the 60s. There were girls who were talking to a lot of guys back when the word talking actually meant you're just talking to them, not you're hooking up with a bunch of people. And that wasn't a big deal because you were genuinely using dating to get to know people. And now it seems like the word dating is just used to say, I'm, you know,
sleeping
with a bunch of people. Yeah. Like it's completely changed the definition of everything. And like that overcomplicates it. I don't think that someone should give you their undivided sexual attention before marriage. And I think that sex outside of marriage and that becoming acceptable in society has just totally turned everything upside down, and overcomplicated dating to the point where it's not facilitating people getting into long-lasting relationships.
But I do think it's fair to say that sexual attention should be in relationships rather than casually.
I would say those relationships should be marital relationships.
But how do you get there? I mean, you're not just gonna pick up a guy on the street and marry them. Like, what do you how do you get to that marriage if there's no? I mean, I get it. You connect on like a friendship level and all of that, but
yeah, I've known
how do you know
so
you want to
many
marry
people who
them?
are married now who waited until marriage, and it's a beautiful.
I believe it. I know people too, but I'm asking, how do you get there? Like, with that.
What do you mean? Like, do you think that having sex before marriage is like a necessity?
No, but I think that people have sexual desires no matter what, and you should go towards that sexual desire.
Why should you automatically gratify all of your desires?
Because you don't want to end up with someone unhappy. I mean, just because you're satisfying a desire doesn't mean you're going against something.
What you're saying makes no sense.
I feel like a lot of people that are saving themselves for marriage, though, are already on the same page with that, so they don't feel the need to just have sex before marriage, obviously.
Yeah, but when they're in the talking stage, are they like...
They actually date. Talking, they don't just use the word talking to mean hooking up with people.
But what are they talking about? Just like values, morals?
The things that you should talk about when you're getting to know someone, yeah.
Okay.
But, you know, could be anything, just not, you know, how big is your dick?
Okay.
Or whatever, those other questions.
So when you're married, you're into that, though. You're like, when you're married, you can be freaky with each other, and that's fine, right?
That's kind of a bizarre way to describe it, but, like, you have a sexual relationship once there's commitment involved. Sorry. You have a sexual relationship with your spouse once there is commitment involved, and the only real commitment, at least in my worldview, is marriage. And I have such esteem, I hold that institution and that sacrament in such high esteem that I don't think anyone should go into it for the wrong reasons.
Okay, I definitely see that. I was just wondering, like, what the beginning stages are, like, for
That's just
not
what dating was until very,
yeah,
very
you're right.
recently
But
in
we
human
obviously
history.
live in a hypersexual world, so it's
Partly due to people
probably
like you, right?
hard to.
Because
Shots
I
fired.
mean,
No, I would say you're
Brian-
pointing at people
Brian
at
is
the bottom
saying,
of the
like,
pyramid
I'm
and saying
tired
it's
of-
my fault.
Guys, one
Brian
at
is
a
saying
time,
like
please.
Brian is saying I'm tired of going on a first date with someone and not knowing whether they are talking to, hooking up with a bunch of other guys. I should have a guarantee that we're exclusive. But also, on the other hand, girls don't have the knowledge that this guy they're on a first date with isn't watching videos of other women
Right.
having sex and doing sexually explicit things on the internet all the time. It's equally disturbing, at least to me, and you're part of perpetrating that problem on the modern dating world. Like, you do take part in that. You're not just complicit in it, you're
Right, but you're
you are
saying
actually
I'm
perpetuating
the
that.
reason for that problem is what she said, and that's not true. I
You're-
think
Part
that
of the reason.
Yeah, part of that. But I'm also someone who grew up around a man's world. It's a man's world, and men want sex. And
Why
women
would you
are
call
gonna
this a
do-
man's world?
It's always been a man's world.
What does that mean to you?
I mean,
You mean it's a patriarchy?
institutionally, like yes.
Institutionally?
There
What?
are men who have ran institutions, men
Actually,
who
I
have
think the
ran
reason that
media.
society is collapsing right now is because we upended the patriarchy. You've never lived in a patriarchy. I have never lived in a patriarchy. Everything is falling apart and no one is happy.
Well, can't go against you there, I guess, if that's how you
I think
feel.
men had a pretty good system figured out until
No,
feminism
yeah, for
ruined
sure.
everything.
But men, being the sexual creatures that they are, have guided us to a society of hypersexualness.
I don't
Wait,
see
men
men
did?
or women as sexual creatures. They have a faculty of sexuality. You can temper it or not.
Okay.
It's about
You don't think men are more sexually, like,
physiologically,
aroused?
sure. Yeah, physiologically there is a difference between men and women's sex drives. But
yes.
and
I think that we have made money
do you
off
really
of that
blame
in the past.
are you really blaming men's sex drives for the fact that you are
I'm
creating
not blaming
the demand
anybody.
for it?
I'm just saying what you said was not right. I'm not, like, the reason for
so
your...
you're supplying porn but blaming men for the demand.
I think that porn
That's bizarre to
can
me.
be in a good way. I don't think porn is, like, 100% bad. I do think that
It is 100% bad. And I think that the women around here who are not doing porn would feel uncomfortable about their boyfriend subscribing to your OnlyFans.
Okay. You don't have to. I didn't ask them to, but what I'm saying, I don't even know what I was saying anymore, actually. You can move on.
Okay.
All right.
That's fine by me.
You got a little too complex for me there, Mary.
I can tell. Yeah.
I'm just a porn star. No. I'm just an OnlyFans girl.
I mean, that's what you are.
Well, I'm not.
I think that you should try to, like,
porn.
be
I
something
definitely
more
do
than that.
my.
Cat fight.